Hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. So the $1 billion question is something that many people have been asking for over 20 years is, does your title tag matter? Will your title tag help you rank even? Well, the answer to that, according to John Muller, is maybe. Now, as most people that watch my videos know, and as most people who do SEO know, Google doesn't really answer your questions, right? So if you want to get an answer to your question, you look at the SERPs and you also look at Google's patents, and if there is an algorithm leak, which I've been looking at throughout my series, where I talk about warehouse API leaks. So the question is, have you been able to test it? And have you been able to test whether title tags are a ranking factor? Now, in the past, people even also thought that your meta description was a ranking factor. Well, it was a ranking factor, but indirectly, and it still is a ranking factor indirectly. But I'm not going to talk about meta descriptions because meta description is a whole different topic. But the title tags of your articles and the title tags of your product pages matter a lot more than what John Muller is telling you. And let's get to the point here and see what John Muller is saying. So someone asked him a question, and someone had asked him a question during the Google Search Central August 2024 live stream, and you can find it on Google. I'm not going to link to it because I absolutely find no value in this type of content because they don't really answer your question. I really end up learning absolutely nothing. So the question was asked, we have a website with satisfying ranks and our product added new features. We need to modify the page, meta title, and description. Does that affect the current rankings? John Muller answered, maybe. So this is his exact answer. Yes, or better, maybe. Changing things like titles or headings on pages can result in changes in search. Now, that's a very weird, that's a very bad way to answer a question. We either say it's going to help you, tell them it's not going to help you. Now, the reason why John Muller is not saying it's not going to help you is because he doesn't want to tell you. And my testing has consistently showed that your title is an absolute ranking factor. So if you don't have your main keyword in the title, exactly as it is, exactly as you want to rank for, even today with semantic search and everything and AI, you're not going to rank. And the reason for that is Google is streamlining, it's slimlining, it's lowering the amount of processing it wants to do to decide whether or not it should index a page. The first thing that Google will see when it lands on your page is your title. Now, if your title is not optimized, it's not well written, it doesn't get to the point, does not describe what the page is about, Google probably will not index your page. It will crawl, discover it, and not index it. So when that happens, most times, you want to get in and check why your pages have not been indexed. Many times, maybe 3 out of 10 times, it's because your title description is gibberish. It's also the reason why a lot of the gibberish pages don't get indexed, because Google comes onto the page, it sees that these pages are absolute gibberish. So I mean, it's something that shouldn't be indexed. But having enough of them on your website is going to be detrimental. That's a whole different story. But when you're doing your title or your meta title and also your H1, you need to be very careful about it. Now, my testing has consistently showed that I can get from the bottom of page 1 to the top of page 1 by just optimizing meta titles and H1s. So the meta title and H1s work hand in hand. So if you just optimize the meta titles and not the H1s, it's not going to have as much as an impact. So you want to do both at the same time. I'll also take you to my screen and I'll demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about, and this will help you optimize perhaps your meta titles and look at your meta titles in a different way that you are looking at it right now. So let's get to it. Example that will help you figure out exactly why meta titles are a ranking factor, or at least they play a part in helping you rank. So I searched for how to sell muscle. Now, you already know that you can't really sell muscle. You can build muscle, but you can't really sell muscle. When you type in something that's nonsensical or doesn't make sense, Google tries to make sense of it, tries to bring up the most relevant search results based on an estimation. And it's doing that by looking at the meta title. And so, which is why this is the best way to test this. And so I put in how to sell muscle, and here's what's number 1. It's Quora. How to make money with pictures of my big muscles. Now, Quora isn't like, it's not a website. but it's a forum where people ask questions and you get answers to questions. But then you also see that it has the word muscle, and it also says with pictures, which means when I say how to sell, so when you put in sell, Google assumes it's a commercial term. So anything that has sell by, Google assumes that there is a commercial intent to the term. So right off the bat, it satisfies that commercial intent with muscles. So muscles with pictures. People are trying to, so it's assumed that people are trying to sell pictures of their muscles because you can't really sell your muscle. And then all of these terms, how can I make money with my muscles, how to gain muscle fat, and all of this is related to what Google thinks or assumes is people are trying to sell muscles. So six strategies to build your sales muscle. 892 used muscle cars for sale. So Google goes and just gives me everything because there is no one article, or there are no articles that satisfy this specific term because it's a nonsensical term. So if I were to create a page that had how to sell muscle in 10 easy steps, that would rank right away. Even if those had maybe 500 pages of content, just a list or a listicle, that would rank because this SERP right off the bat tells you that Google has no idea what you're talking about. So Google doesn't understand what you want. There are no exact matches. So Google can't understand what you want. So it's just an estimation. So if you change this to how to, all right, so you've been watching this video and I hope you're getting a lot of value from it. I just wanted to add here that I offer SEO services, audits, and website SEO audit services in addition to regular SEO or monthly SEO as it's called. So you can visit cloudsceodubai.com to hire me to audit your site. It's very affordable and very important at the same time. So unlike other SEO providers, I don't charge you thousands of dollars to do an audit. And my audit is not just, pointing out what's wrong with your site, but also giving you actionable steps. So if you want to do your own SEO, this is probably where you would want to start. Even if you have another company that's doing SEO for you, you want to have someone like me run an audit just to see or check if they're on the right track. The same goes for my topical mapping service. If you're looking to build authority, a topical map is the first place you'd want to start because you want to flesh out your content. You want to make sure that you're covering all the angles just so that Google sees you as an authority in the industry. And finally, my monthly SEO service, is self-explanatory. You can contact me directly via the website, or there's a link to a Google form that you can fill out and I will get in touch with you. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get back to the video. Build muscle. Now you look at, now these are the title types. The titles over here is how to gain muscle, which is build and gain. They are semantically related, or they're synonyms. So how to gain muscle, you go down, the ultimate guide to building muscle mass. So build muscle, building muscle mass. So you see how the titles are connected. Then they've got these videos, build muscle, right? So build muscle, how to build muscle, right off the bat, how to build muscle. So Google is looking at the titles and there's no two ways about this. Let's try something totally different. Let's try a commercial term that's probably something people will use that will bring up an e-commerce site. So let's say buy dog food. All right. So when I put in buy dog food as a search term, what titles do you see? So you see buy dog food online in the UAE. Dog food UAE. Now I'm in the UAE. I'm in Dubai. So it will show me everything that's in Dubai. You'll notice that what's in the title over here? Buy dry dog food UAE, commercial term. So buy means commercial, so commercial term right away. So if these were not in the title, what would happen? Well, we have instances of that. So because Amazon, even though it's a giant, it does not have this in the title, it's not ranking as well. Go down again. So you've got dog food, Hills Pet Nutrition. Google doesn't know what they're doing, even though they're an online store. They don't have the buy, they don't have the term, they don't have the intent that they're selling anything. So they're not ranking as well despite having great domain authority. You go down, buy dry dog food online to buy pet house. So despite them being a giant with great authority, they're not doing as well because, they don't have the intent. So it says buy dry dog food online. So they have this exactly as it is in Dubai, but they could have further optimized this by, if I take a look at the H1, so the H1 and the title is the same. And so this is not an optimized page, and they could further optimize this page, you know, by just having an H1 that's relevant. So they have something over here. You can say we deliver dry dog food, but it has nothing to do with the buy intent. It just has something to do with delivery, which is part of the e-commerce ecosystem, but it's not something that's going to rank. But they are ranking for many other keywords. Carrefour is another giant. They're not, you know, they've got buy dog food online in Dubai, but if you follow up on the page, I would bet that the title and H1 is absolutely the same. And I'm doing this off the cuff, so I have no idea what I'm going to see. You see here, it just says dog food. And over here, if you look at their URL, this is not a separate category. This is something that's been put together because they have these strings at the end. So there probably isn't a separate category. They could probably might have a category, but I don't think there is. There's absolutely no content on the page. So they're not ranking well. So they're only ranking based on domain authority. So if you wanted to outrank them, then you would put buy dog food in the title. So that's the first thing you do. You optimize your H1 for this. Just this video is not about. You can watch my previous videos about that, and you'll put a little content about this. Now, this is the #1 ranking site. Let's take a look at what they're doing. It takes a second over here. My internet is slow for some reason today. All right, so dry dog food. So you can see the title and their H1 is not the same. So this is here in the title, buy dry dog food, online in the UAE, and the H1 is dry dog food. So they've got an H1. Then they've got some content where they have keyword stuff, for lack of a better word, keywords in here, and they're ranking. Now they also have great domain authority, so it's not they're just not ranking because of their page, but they have less domain authority compared to Carrefour or Noon or any of these other, Amazon even. But let's say I change this term to I want to eat dog food. Now, when you say I want to eat dog food, Google assumes that a human being wants to eat dog food. So right off the bat, you will see this from, you know, this is an advisory from a website that provides veterinary information, I guess. The dog food is not meant for human consumption, and this has been highlighted. And again, you will see why do some people eat dog food. So again, Google has no idea why you're searching for it, but Google thinks that you want to eat dog food, so it's providing me this advisory. And it's can humans eat dog food? So a lot of this is advice that Google is giving us, because if I wanted to rank for this, I'll put this directly in my title, and I'll have a variation of this in my H1, and I'll rank right off the bat for this term, because no one has this in the title in H1. So Google is bringing out these websites because it's assuming this answers the question. So this is why Google never really tells you, you know, why something is the way it is. But if you look at the SERPs, and you should always look at the SERPs when you're trying to rank, because this is Google giving you the answer that you need to uncover to figure out how to rank a site. So I hope you guys found the video useful. Like and subscribe as always. Leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next video.